Welcome to my long-term review of my gravel bike, the Giant Revolt Zero. I'll be sharing some of the issues I encountered and the upgrades I've made. I hope this information will be helpful to anyone who either owns one or is considering purchasing one. Let's take a look at how it has held up over the past 3 years. Overall, this frame provides a sturdy base and fits all modern standards for easy upgrades. Lightweight aluminum frame, semi-internal cable routing, decent amount of accessories mounts, full carbon fork with oversized bottom bearing, good tire clearance, industry standard 12mm, 100 and 142 axles, highly durable BSA bottom bracket, flat mounts for disc brakes, Giant's diffused seat post. Now let's dive into details. This is a light and reliable frame. I haven't had any problems with it in 3 years. This is particularly important in critical components like wheel hubs, bottom bracket, headset, and seat post. The precision and quality of these parts affect the wear and tear of other components. The only thing I changed in this frame is how the wiring is routed. Giant suggests running the wire inside the frame without housing. I prefer to have continuous wiring from shifter to derailleur. Also, I only ride with one front chainring, so that's one less wire. Therefore, I'll combine the rear wires and route them through the hole for the hydraulic line. It looks quite neat. The cable is always dry and clean and requires no maintenance. The fork is entirely made of carbon. This means that the fork itself and the steerer tube are constructed from carbon and form a single integrated unit. As for the headset, I still use the factory bearings. They are durable enough with regular maintenance. I have experience riding on Gravel King 43mm and Rambler 38mm tires. After riding on dirt with the 43mm tires, the paint on the frame wore off slightly and dirt would get on the front chainring. I believe that 38 to 40mm is the optimal width for this frame. In my experience, both the Gravel King and Rambler tires wear out similarly and need to be replaced after 1500 to 1600 kilometers. The factory wheels are quite basic. The rims have an inner width of 17mm and weigh approximately 520 grams. I know this because I had to replace the rear hub. I wasn't satisfied with the quality of the free hub and pawls. I installed a Cruiser 460 rear hub. It has a fairly simple design, easily accessible bearings, and doesn't require any special tools for maintenance. The bearings were replaced with Japanese ones almost immediately. The quality of the factory assembly is quite good. It can be expected that they will ride without problems for 10 to 15,000 kilometers. The factory installed seat post is the diffuse, but it's aluminum. After 2 years of use, I replaced it with a carbon one, and I was impressed by how much smoother the ride became and how well it absorbed road shocks. For a few days, I kept checking the rear wheel because it seemed like the tire pressure had dropped. That's how well the diffuse works. It's also worth to mention an issue with a seat post clamp. It squeaks. The solution is very simple. Whether it's aluminum or carbon, just lubricate it with carbon grip paste. You won't hear it anymore. And a few words about the saddle. I replaced the stock one with another one from Giant. It is also stock but newer and of better quality. On all Revolt models after 2022, you'll find this exact saddle. Behind the saddle, there's a small mount where you can attach accessories like lights, fenders, and bags. In 2020, when this bike was made, they installed a hydraulic Shimano 105 Groupset. On the front, I replaced 2x with 1x setup. Chainring placed instead of a big ring since the Alba crankset is supposed to be 2x only. And on the back I replaced 105 with GRX 812 because 105 is not made for gravel and feels really slappy on rough roads and cobbles. GRX clutch system works amazingly well. I run 42 on the front and 1142 on the back. I like these stock handlebars, and I see a lot of people riding them without changing. They are angled a little bit back with a small flare on the drops. I've tried Ritchie Ergomax for 1 season. Didn't like it and switched back. Even they say it has diffused technology, I don't feel any bending or flexing and going to replace with carbon one, expecting to have a similar effect as from the seat post upgrade. I'm a big fan of smartphones, as you can tell. I don't rely on any sensors or need any data from a computer. However, I do require navigation and easy access to the camera, which is why I have my smartphone mounted in front of me. I've got a custom-made holder using the V-mount standard from the cinematography industry. It's completely metal, no plastic. This thing can handle any rough terrain and cobblestones. There are 2 mounts inside the frame triangle, along with an additional one under the down tube. In the latest Revolt models, they've also added mounts on the top tube and on the fork. However, since I prefer to ride fast and never carry so many bags that I would need more mounting points. So I'm happy with this configuration. I have my CO2 cartridge, tire plug, and pump securely mounted on the bike, and I carry a small multi-tool in my pocket. That's it. This setup I was running for 3 years. Next upgrades will be new wheel set and carbon handlebars. But before that, I was lucky to get a new carbon frame set, Giant Revolt Advanced 2021. I'll talk about my impressions from this frame swap in my next video. Stay tuned.